Good luck. Welcome back. We're in week 261 of the teaching ladder. You play a higher rated and a lower rated opponent. Learn something from the experience and get a chance to review it together. So I'm not exactly on a hot streak playing this ladder, but hopefully it's still fun to watch and fun to participate. Have been gradually making my way through Seigo Sato's fourth file Rook strategy book. However, I have a lot to learn. I'm not sure I've fully, committed the book to memory yet. It has many forcing variations, but yeah, all these forcing variations are key lines that make it possible to play that system. So it's good to have a firm understanding of how that system works. Today's proverb is to mend the wall silver. So a silver is better for sheltering your king. You'd rather have your king sheltered than walled in. So that's what that's about. Pushing this pawn too many times can get me in trouble. Twice seems to be fine. Thrice, I'm not fully sure. What I did see is that the opponent wanted to move their bishop and play the rook to this file. And I was contemplating if they actually did that. Might I have played a center castle? I don't know. Because, yeah, it's uncomfortable to meet this opposing rook strategy. Even more so when I don't have a rook to oppose it with. I still remember when I was excited to play Central File Rook so many games. And so many tactics would hedge on when Pawn 5-5 got played and later on broke open the position. Alright, I'm going to commit my king to this side. So if they move the bishop and move the rook again, I'm investing king moves, bringing the king into an attack. They're investing bishop and a rook move to get the rook over there. Maybe it's a fair trade, maybe not. Okay, I defend this pawn in case some bishop drop fork thing becomes, I don't know, scary. Alright, we're gonna build a castle over here. I really don't want to build on Aguma again today. My last few attempts playing it have not gone well. I defer making a decision, hoping that my opponent's move makes my decision-making easier somehow. Seemingly, I don't know that this... Alright, we're gonna play it. Fine. I don't like playing this. I don't like recommending it, but the silver is not heading toward this castle, so if I want to try to gain an advantage, this seems like a way to try for that. So, although Senta moves first and Senta's black, I think? Well, I'm sorry, no. This coloring doesn't, like, obviously shogi pieces are not colored. You can see the black and the white move markers over there. But that doesn't correspond to anything on the board. It's just useful for tracking purposes. Okay. This is pretty aggressive. Normally I just drop the pawn and encourage the rook to move away, but this position seems a bit confused. So I don't want my opponent to have their pieces find some harmony. I'd rather be able to find a target somehow. I think I'm threatening to push this exchange, drop my rook back, drop this pawn, and then capture the rook. I think that's possible. It takes one slack move from the opponent to... Well, if that happens, they could drop a pawn, and we exchange and the rook escapes. Yes, even that trap doesn't work. It's fun to imagine, though. I'm a bit fuzzy on should I push this edge. No, the king's over here. We don't have time to spend on that. Okay, I could hit this with my rook. It's not great. Um, hmm. Not sure what's going on here. Hmm. Oh. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of tactics here. There's a lot of tactics here. So, okay, I need to cover this up. Any kind of strange scheming I might have been doing just isn't worth it here. Um, okay, we'll lock in the rook. This looks interesting. Let's try it. I was thinking that there was no way to take this pawn with gain of time, but there just might be, since there's a king-bishop fork. And that fork lets me hit this gold, but it gets my rook trapped. So I can't... It's not going to go quite that way. There might be something else, however. Like if I exchange my rook for the bishop, I don't know how I continue attacking, but there's many possibilities. They all seem slow. Mm. So if we exchange bishops here and they pawn drop, if I bishop drop to try to... No, the rook moves over, I don't win the silver. That's too bad. Likewise, other permutations don't seem to quite cut it. Alright, so I have a pawn in hand. Taking this seems too much. Hmm. Well, they say mend the wall silver, and I've walled in my king. That's almost the same thing, right? I defend my bishops, so now my silver is free to move. Not sure what the silver is going to do, but also I'm not sure what my opponent's doing. If this diagonal opens, I can exchange and then redrop the bishop, and they have to defend this knight somehow. Or move the knight and sack it, but I don't know that they're ready to do that. Yeah, I had a recent game on Shogi Wars turn against me quickly when I tried to push too many pawns, and just holes opened everywhere. There's nothing I can do to stop it. Um, hmm. Okay, this could be interesting. But the silver's loose. At least right now it is. Um, Fine, I'll take one. Then we'll protect this silver. This pawn hangs. And I guess that's fine. If they take that, we can exchange rooks and see where we end up next. So I defend my king's head, and next we can close in on this rook, whether by moving the bishop or by dropping a pawn. Upon exchanging rooks, I have a place to drop a rook, and my silver is not hanging anymore. The silver's loose, the bishop's defended by a knight. This is looking a lot like my Shogi Wars game, but slightly better, since I'm not hanging everything all at once here. Still don't really like my position, but what can you do? So if I move this bishop, if the rook retreats, pawn drop, if they hit my rook, rook backs up. They hit the rook again, bishop takes, king takes, rook takes, pawn drop. I'll lose material and initiative. Which is to say that, like, bishop up might not be as clever as it looks. Mm. 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 Well, I'll take a rook. I'm a bit confused by that, since my opponent had faster moves available. But maybe this hits harder. Okay. I can even defend this pawn, which really shuts down the opponent's bishop. Yeah, my knight is loose, but we've got a messy position. Lots of things are loose. But yeah, I've basically gained a bishop because this pawn shuts down the bishop. At least for now. This bishop's not in play. My rook is in a really weird spot and might hang at some point. But this is not super great for the bishop. Bishops belong, I don't know, you'd like to promote the bishop and then retreat it. Same way I'd like to promote the rook, but then actually keep it on the top end of the board. So there might be some super clever tactic that I missed here. Anything can happen, but I think I'm doing okay. Anaguma takes a while to start their attack, but once it gets started, party don't stop. Okay. That's pretty clever. Um... Hmm. Wait a sec. Where's this going? It might retreat all the way back this way. I can't exactly trap it. If I drop my rook, this retreats way back yonder. It's not what I had in mind. But then I could push over here. What I don't... Well, okay. Maybe there is a way I can still gain this knight, even though it looks like I can't. I wonder. If I push this pawn, they do anything I If they take, I can drop a pawn, this moves. And then this position unravels a bit. Or if I push this, if bishop takes, then the bishop can't protect the knight. That might be my key out of here. Is there a different move order? Same idea, different move order. I could drop the rook. Bishop takes, I push the silver. The bishop runs here, and then I take this silver. We both start taking things. That's where Anaguma likes to be, usually. Oh, there's another move. I could retreat the silver. Bishop takes pawn, and then I skewer the bishops. That's tricky. That looks best. We're gonna try this funky looking move. So I've protected this wing. The bishop can promote, and then I have problems to deal with, but I was gonna have problems in any event. Dealing with problems looks easier once I know where the opponent's pieces are at. It's not easy to predict where the opponent's pieces will end up. That hangs a bishop. I guess I've tricked my opponent somehow. Alright, yeah, I'll take a bishop, sure. Only because this also allows me to prevent the other bishop from promoting. We've both been so concerned with the top end of the board that this happened. And now this bishop's trapped. As Anaguma, you can't, like, it's important not to give away the gold general, but a bishop is a bishop, man. I need to do something, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I give away a gold, but I think I'm fine. I'm not, I don't know. It feels odd.
これより秒読みに入ります。
But can it be wrong? Like, they could pawn drop to support the other pawn, and it gives them an invasion point that's hard to break up. I'd have to, like, play knight takes or something. They could, if they do take a gold, the gold could drop here.
30秒。
Oh, wait. If I go up, gold takes pawn is not as threatening as I thought it was. Yeah. Alright, so we'll remove this. So I've gained quality here of a bishop for gold. I can drop the bishop to take a knight and promote and hopefully make inroads here somewhere. Also, pawn drop on the silver's head lets me escape this rook. But then there's a fork. So, be careful.
30秒。
If I drop the bishop, I might get it trapped too if I'm careless. But it looks like I can escape here if this silver gives
40
chase.
秒。50秒。1、2、3、4、5、6。
Yep. Alright, so I want to continue protecting the pawn. So that's what I'm going to do. Is protect the center pawn. And... oh! Would you look at that? There's a fork here. I think that's fine by me. There was no avoiding it. Okay. I'll just have to accept this. It's fine. Where do we go next? What's the opponent gonna do once they get that? I'm not sure. Okay, we're gonna pull back to reduce the number of possible targets. The further up the board my rook is, the more prone it is to attack. So, I pull back. I expect bishop takes center rook. So we'll take this bishop. I couldn't stop them, but it's okay. I would like to attack this castle. It's strong against attacks from the side. Not as strong from the front, but I don't have a knight to hit it from the front. So, I don't know what to do.
30秒。
That's a fork. That is a super annoying fork that I should have seen. Okay. I will make the most of my rook and not give away my gold general. And we'll find some way to invade here. Bishop drop, bishop takes lance, etc. looks interesting. Ah, right. Yeah, I'd rather not give up my gold general. So we'll take once here. And this is where things get interesting, I think. Hmm. My rook doesn't have an open file like I expected it might. I could retreat. Kinda have to. Bishop drop. Rook moves. Rook retreats. I don't see a continuation there. Bishop drop, they take this, I take here, they drop the rook again. That's again a fork that I don't have parried. So yeah, I'm just gonna pull back and trust that I get to attack somewhere else. So here we attack. Maybe they'll continue hitting this gold. Maybe they'll escape this rook. I don't know. Forks here, forks there, forks everywhere. So now my gold is no longer hanging. So if they attack my rook, I can run somewhere and not worry about it for one turn. And then after that one turn, I gotta find a plan. Alternatively, at some point, I could just exchange my rook for whatever is attacking it and hope that my attack is
30
faster.
秒。
Good old Hope Shogi.
40秒。50秒。
Yep. Alright, that attacks my gold general. I defend this gold. They can bring a knight to attack it, I guess. I'd have to go here, but yeah. That's possible. Yeah, I prefer playing lighter castles and stronger attacks than what I've got. This is going to be a test.
30秒。
Not sure I'm ready for this test.
40秒。50秒。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9。
That's the move I was more concerned about. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's keep going. Yeah, the value of the Oniguma Castle is that it bears gold generals. Or contains gold generals that can defend against a lot of things. If they drop the silver, maybe I just leave the rook here. If they take the rook, I do gold takes, and this knight can't take back, because that's not how knights move. Could also pawn drop here. Yeah. Pawn drop, they take, I take. Knight moves somewhere off the beaten path. And that way, well, it's not necessary for me to do that. Hmm. Pawn drop. Yeah. No, knight drop first and then pawn drop? How does this work? If I drop the knight, I only have one knight I can drop. At least right now. Um... hmm. Oh, okay, I've got some ideas. Okay, let's go. You can only take one of my pieces at a time. Hopefully that somehow works to my favor. Yeah, I can't escape this rook from every attack for all times, so we're just going to offer it for a silver.
30秒。
Much earlier this game, my opponent offered a bishop for a general. So this seems fair. Of course, now I see that both rooks on this rank actually poses a pretty big threat. I can't just drop another pawn like I'd been thinking of doing. Can think about positions for minutes and still miss key concepts like this. That's disappointing. Alright, so I have to deal with the threat. I can't just ignore it. The only way I see to deal with it is to drop this here. Hmm.
これより秒読みに入ります。
Likewise, I cannot just vacate the back rank. So it's going to take some fancy footwork to get through this. Lance drop, I can't just drop a pawn. So many things I cannot just do here.
?30 秒。
Mm-hmm. So, um, hmm.
30秒。40秒。50秒。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。
All right, fine. Gamble everything. Here we go. This needs to work. Retreating is not correct. So, I mean, maybe I had knight drop here. I don't know. Okay, that... Sure. Mm-hmm. Is this... Well, let's find out. I said I was gambling. Um, maybe they missed this move? Like, this is the one thing I was extremely confident about. I didn't think we'd see this line. Um, but, I don't know. With Shogi, you have to be prepared for anything, I guess. Yeah, I have 4 generals. I have 2 golds, a silver, and a bishop in hand. I was pretty sure that was enough here. So I did not look further. I don't know if this is one too many, in fact. But
30
definitely
秒。
looks like enough.
40秒。
Might be too many, actually. Thanks for the game. That's got to be a heartbreaker. This came down to a tempo, I think. So, yeah, for game review, I usually, unless, yeah. So I usually recommend we start from the beginning, but also, like, it's good for the opponent to start where they're most comfortable. Um, unless I was the one who lost the game, then I get to start where I'm comfortable. Last time I tried zooming once, the overlay broke. Yeah. So we're gonna stick with this. So, yeah, if they drop this gold back, what did I had planned here? What had I planned here? I think I was looking at this. But yeah, in the 81 Dojo analysis recommendations, like they suggest this isn't about relitigating the entire game, but yeah, it's good to start wherever is most comfortable. It was a tricky end game. Um, do I have something here? Like, I'd been looking at this. I don't know if it's enough. Endgames are still not my forte. I need to practice them more. Yes, right. So maybe here I need to defend. Because I can't seem to find a way to break this down. Um, which way do I take it? I guess this way. This gives me room to drop another piece into the center of this castle. It's strange. But yeah, it looks like my attack is stalled. Yeah, I don't know how to continue. I just, like, you got me. There might be something here. I don't know. I tend, well, when I'm reviewing games, I don't overly dwell on endgame positions, just because there are a lot of sumo shogi out there, and endgames and real games tend to be extremely tricky to figure out. Like, sure, it's one thing to figure out what your intuition should be. Ah, yeah, uh, yeah. It might not have been the only move, but it sure looked cool. Yeah. Yep, there's a lot going on. Yep. Um, like, surely there's some position where a bishop drop somehow reverses everything. That tends to happen, but boy, it's tricky finding all the moves. So yeah, I'm just signaling that, like, yeah, there's something going on here, but it beats me. If I can find something that I know works, then by all means I'd chime in here, but I'm just stumped. Like, this twin gold castle's just such a tricky thing to checkmate. Hmm. Oh, wow. If that works, that's really cool. I don't know if this defends successfully. That is... Well, we've mended the wall silver in this case by letting the king out. Maybe that's the way about it. I kept thinking I need to checkmate, but yeah, if the opponent can't mate me, then maybe it's fine. Oh, wait. Wow. That's pretty cool. Good thing the game didn't end that way. That's pretty nice. Yeah, wherever the king goes, he'll drop finishes the game. That's pretty cool. Yep, engines are good at this stuff. Yeah. Uh, it's easier to play in post-game analysis than it is to play in the real game. There's no pressure during post-game analysis. Or maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe there is pressure in post-game analysis somehow, and I'm just not understanding it. But yeah, there's a saying that the spectator sees the best of the game. It holds true. I guess I'll offer, like, would you be interested in reviewing from the top? 81 Dojo, in their wiki, recommends this approach. Yeah. So I could do that, sure. Um, yeah, we're like, they castle this way, I castle this way. But we ended up going, I built half Mino. Actually, I was going to build half Mino, but um, yeah. Double static rook and double swinging rook, I think, are some of the more confusing systems, because the rooks can end up pretty much anywhere. If a rook is opposing a rook, then it's easier to predict what's going on. Like, it has to go through the pawns. Yeah. Yeah, I don't usually play the systems, so there might be some merit to my words, but I don't know. Hmm. This whole system was confusing. I could have tried this. I didn't know what to do. Like, I pushed this or something. Um, yeah, so that's the one downside of playing this castle, is that, like, it's super hard to review finding key moments, because, I don't know, where's the mistake? It's hard to say. Uh, um, yeah. Uh, yeah, where I just pushed everything on Shogi Wars. Um, uh, I tried something different this game. It's, yeah, like I didn't feel like repeating that mistake. Surely it was a mistake of some sort to push like that, even though somehow it feels right to push. I just don't think I have time to do it. Um, hmm, yeah. Yeah, I guess we're both confused. But, so, yeah, this happened. Yeah, I guess, this looks like it's actually a useful sacrifice. Looks like I underestimated it. Hmm. Uh, yeah. So, like, there's a lot of advantages to what they played here. That's tricky for me to find the next move. Yeah. Uh, yeah, so I think, like, what both of us played was pretty reasonable. Um, yeah. Uh, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Like, this is not good. Unless there's some shot that we both missed. Like, I can't even say. Um, hmm. This looks so interesting. Um, I'd go here, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that looks nice. Hmm. And how do I break this attack? There's just like no, My attack's too slow. There's nothing I can do. Um, maybe this now? This is just so bad. Um, hmm. Like, how can I possibly hold this position together? So much going on. Yeah. Hmm. So something like this, maybe? What can I do? Dropping my pieces back into the castle. Something like this. Hmm. And I guess this to shut down a night drop. Yeah. I guess this all got super complicated. This is just... Onaguma's too much for we mere mortals. Hmm. Yeah. So in Shogi Club 24, apparently people defend more than I defended, which is why I was able to catch my opponent off guard. Um, yeah, this got tricky. Yeah, this is... What a game. Oh, this? Keeping pressure on the gold. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Um, okay. How do I encourage them or something? Um, oh wait, could I just defend like this here maybe? So they're down a piece in this line with respect to the game. Or it takes them more time to get a piece. Um, hmm. Hmm. So I think I'm doing okay here. Yeah, so I can understand regretting a move. Um, the grass is greener on the other side, but this might not be it. Yeah. So I get to take one of those. I say as if there's more than one dragon on the board to be taken. Yeah. Yeah. This game was really close. I didn't expect, I don't know, to survive playing Oniguma. It's not my strongest strategy, but we made things complicated. That was what was necessary. Um, hmm. Yeah, uh, yeah, they could defend here too. Uh, yeah, surely there's many ways to defend this. Uh, yeah, I prefer their attack over my own, but maybe I've got something here. Who knows? Oh, opening the back rank is risky. Why do I always look at the craziest lines first? Don't know. Hmm. Why am I looking at this crazy stuff first? Um, maybe this holds. Hmm. This is why I attack rather than defend, because I don't know how to defend. Defending's hard. Um, yeah, then I get to push here again. I'll try this again. And just hope that I'm fast enough. But at some point I get to cut this rank too. Um, yeah, tricky stuff. Tricky stuff, for sure. Mm. Mhm. Yeah, I don't know how to continue my attack. When my attack ends, I'm in trouble. Hmm. I guess playing Oniguma makes post-game analysis more challenging. It's just the nature of the beast. Hmm. Oh, this. Yeah, this is why I don't defend, because I'm not good at defending. If defending's even a real thing. Maybe it's not. Okay. Oh, wait. Now I see the key idea. It's pretty cheeky. This prepares to retreat my horse and continue defending. Um, and liberate my gold to take stuff if it needs to. Oh, shnikes. Yeah, no, this is not a panacea after all. I think they could attack more directly than that. I think this gold drop here directly might have been faster. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. And, yep. Yeah. Surely my attack does not prevail first here. Uh, yep. Defense is hard. Defense is so difficult. Which, again, is why I just focus on attacking. Like, often there's just one way to attack. There's lots of ways to try to defend, but they just don't work. Um, yeah, there you go. Well, I'm sorry. Here, since I dropped the knight, that no longer immediately prevails, but... Um, um, oh, I just take this, I guess. Like, how am I going to survive this? Yeah, looks pretty dire. Maybe. Oh, I'm sorry. Certainly there's a better move than that, actually. Yeah, no. Uh, if Lance drop, gold drop directly. Gold drop. So here we can still drop here. There's, again, no defense. At least none that I see. Maybe there's one I don't see. Maybe gold drop is faster, actually. She should just do that. Yeah. Um, it might matter in some lines somewhere, so having this extra flexibility doesn't seem to hurt. Hmm. Yep, yep, yep. Shogi is hard. Shogi's so hard. Yeah. Uh, so we tried to review this game. Engines could refute everything that we looked at, for all I know. Yeah. But it's still good to go through the exercise and see what we can learn together. Yeah. Um, yeah, usually as we're reviewing, I try to narrate, but this is a awfully complex game to review. Or I'm just struggling with it. Couldn't tell you which. So, what else do we think about or say? Um, yeah, I wonder, is there anything left for us to look at? Because Shogi is just that complex a game. It's not as bad as Go, but Shogi is extremely complicated. And we got a taste of that today. Hmm. In fact, yeah, that whole mend the wall silver ended up playing a critical role in this endgame. My opponent's king got walled in by that silver. I don't know that I needed all the pieces I had to mate, but Um, this is why you don't want to wall your king in. Or if you do, build Onaguma, but yeah, it's tricky. Yeah. I don't know what else there is to look at. So, yep. We'll take a look. Discover all the crazy stuff we missed. Um, but yeah, it looks like I didn't D-rank today, so that's positive. Ah, yeah, it's exciting. There is well, at time of this recording, there's an upcoming weekly ladder. By the time this video is released, that ladder probably will have already started. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to play it or not. Yep. Nice. Yeah. Fun times. So, yeah. I guess just once more, the game was intensely difficult, both during the game and the post-game review. Just a super... Like, here's a 30-some move variation. Lots of fun things, and that's just, like, if I try dropping a pawn between the rooks. There's so many other lines. Onaguma is somewhat intractable that way. What's not intractable, what is tractable rather, was what happened in the game. Where I'm like, okay, sure, I could spend a turn defending this, but before I do that, I'm going to throw in this exchange because my opponent is forced to take my knight. And the reason they're forced to take the knight is because of this mend the wall silver. That's the silver wall. That is a cage right there. We can count. I've got 4 generals, a knight, and a bishop. And this promoted bishop assisting. So it's extremely likely that I have checkmate here. We need to look no further than this. And if the king retreats, gold drop as mate. But here also, just to spell out the proverb for those who might have missed it, that's also mate. And it's because of this damn wall. If the king could take the silver, I would have had to be more careful about how this is constructed. Like, perhaps something like this would have been necessary if the silver just weren't here. And the king steps over, and then bishop drop, and it incidentally is just enough here. So I've played enough Suma Shogi and or got checkmated enough times to be able to find this line. My opponent, after being in time pressure for a number of moves, just collapsed here. We're around move 100, so it makes sense you'd be exhausted by this point. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened in this opening. There's a lot to review. I'm not a fan of what I ended up playing here. I'm probably not going to play that again soon. Probably just going to like pawn drop, try to hold this, and I'm not sure how I progress elsewhere. Exchanging bishops might be useful. It'll be interesting to see what other game reviewers in the Harbor Discord, as well as just Geeko helping me out. Like, did I miss some tactics somewhere? Was it completely wrong-minded to defend like this? Because I didn't want to see this here happen. This promotion. I couldn't, like, this got really messy. I wasn't ready for it. But maybe this is fine. I don't know. I get the knight, and they get some pieces, I get some pieces. In retrospect, I kind of like this. But yeah, we'll take a look at it, see what more we can find. And yeah, so that's the format. Again, the ladder's open to anybody to play. You just have to commit to being able to review the game with your opponent, preferably right after the game, but if it's okay if you miss a week. It's okay if you schedule games and then you miss your schedule. I've done that many times. But it's good collaborating with folks and hearing other people's thoughts, and that's why you get paired with players that are close to your rating, above and below it. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you around.